Hey, this is Soul Jai Arts, and you are continuing the original Soul Jai series of F.o.f. Fall of the Feds. On F.o.f. number 1, we cleared up a lot of general misunderstandings about the Federal Reserve. This could be broken down into 4 different points or segments that pretty much clear it up for you. 1, there is no greater contributor to world suffering than the Federal Reserve bankers and the IBF bankers. No Illuminati, no devils, just bankers. Like, it makes it so simple knowing that, right? 2, the Federal Reserve is a group of monopoly owners that gain more currency than the rest of the American decision makers. And that's what they cover up from most people. They want you to think that they're this crazy, evil, mystic group of people, when in reality, they're just people that took advantage of markets and industries during the early settlement of the Federal Reserve being set in this country, 1913. 3, the McFadden Act grants the Federal Reserve infinite control of American resources through currency. Lastly, you are a slave if you exchange with Federal Reserve notes. Okay. Now, with that being said, and what you knowing that, it makes it so much simpler for you to react to the actual happenings of today's world, in which we have a lot of propaganda, the most propaganda that's ever been engaged throughout the history of the world. And we know about Edward Bernays and how he started what is called personal, what's it called? He started PR basically. And with that alone, it broke into a whole new discovery of how we can, as people, be enticed by certain thoughts, and they can become basically, they replace your understanding of reality around you and what's actually happening. And they simply do this by enticing your memory with certain sensory replications. Now, once you do that, you flash a couple images, and then you put some captions with it, and let there be sound with it, and then you got a whole environment in somebody's mind, at least. Okay? So, with Edward Bernays figuring this out, the bankers decided to use this to their advantage. And this is what created the market of what we call capitalism today. It is based off of marketing. Now, when you have an industry, which is what most monopoly owners gain their control of resources through, when you have an industry, that is group of goods that are associated with the certain usage that people have. Now, you can have such a thing like the steel industry. For steel, you can use that for so many things. You can use that from anything to a spoon to building a whole fucking building. Now, the key with that resource is that the steel industry is based off of what people do with the steel. Steel itself is a resource, and this is something that people would die and fight for in reality. You feel me? If not for there being, a society or a country and police and people. No, people would literally go die and fight for the weed industry. People would literally go fight and have wars for salt alone, water. But just because we agree upon certain things and live in a certain mind state, We don't go out there and fight. But what I'm saying is this. These industries in which are really just goods that are being used in a certain cycle inside of a group of people. The industry is based off of what you need, basically. Now, if you have an industry for food, we all need food, no matter where you at in the world. So if you control the food industry, you literally control everybody's food supply in the whole world. Okay? Now, we know about Monsanto, and we know they've been around since the 1990s. They got all control of the food industry right now. Okay? Now, let's imagine this. How did somebody get a monopoly over food? Okay? The food industry, what do you use food for? What you consider food is based off of what you think is food. Okay? So if I present something to you like an apple and I try to use it as a fucking key or something, it's not gonna work. But you know you're supposed to eat the apple. Okay? This is natural resources. Just like you gotta drink the water, but this is all taught to you through your culture and your parenting. So this is a double-edged sword. You might think I'm going back and forth, but it's really the same boat. In which earlier I was telling you about PR. You see, once you control an industry and you have a good, if I have paper, then I have to make you want this paper. Okay? If I want you to want, if I want to get something out of you in exchange for something I have, basically. We're talking about, now we're breaking it down to the simplest object. The industry is based off of what? The wants and needs of the people. Now, if I have something that I want in exchange for what you have, wouldn't it be so much easier if I could literally convince you to want what I have? Now, if you don't want what I have, then I'm not going to be able to get what I want from you, basically. You're not going to want to give that up. You got to have something that you want even more than what you have. And what is that? In the case of the food industry, that means that you will have to want to give up all your free land and farm and do everything that's really easy and free. And you will want to live in a square box all the time and go to a store to buy all your food instead. And we can look at the history of that alone, because the amount of land that used to be used for farming in the United States have grown, actually. It's grown since the 1900s, the 1920s, the 1930s. But the key is this. Fewer people own that farmland that's being used more than they did back in the day. That's the key right there. So it doesn't matter if there's more land being used for farming if you don't control what it's being used for. You know why? Because it's an industry. Now, industry is basically when you have something that somebody wants, and then they tell their friend, their mama, and then everybody else start doing it. Monkey see, monkey do, basically. So once you have that established, let's say, for example, smoking cigarettes and shit like that. That's a trend. Even back, if you go farther back, you can see that alcoholism, it started out of nowhere. It's something that nobody used to do back in the day, barely, but now everybody does it. Okay, knowing that, I'm trying to get something out of you. If you know that, you yourself at home, if you know that, let's say, for example, if you know that I'm trying to rob you, then wouldn't it be so much easier to defend yourself? So the key to a marketing sale, this is something that all people who work in whatever it's called, sales representative, they know about the fact that you have to make it seem like you're not trying to, you're trying to help them by selling this to them. In exchange, what do they want? Money, right? The money is the gateway between what somebody else wants and what somebody else is getting rid of. Now imagine if you could get something from somebody else without giving up nothing. How? Let's ask this question. How can you yourself ask yourself this right now? How would you take somebody's money if you had to? Now, we all don't, thought about robbing somebody. We all don't had a chance to steal somebody. It might be, simple slip of the pocket. Might be a simple, oh shit, he left it on the ground. That's stealing too. But this is the key right here. The fact is that you just got something that you wanted out of nowhere. For nothing. This phenomena actually happens all the time. This is what would happen as if you think about going to a tree from an apple. A tree for an apple, and you thinking, damn, I'm stealing this shit. As if it's not yours already, in a way. Or as if, you actually have to eat that shit. This is where the industry has the most control at, right there. They take things that you already have, flip it, bow. Make you go get something new, something better than what they got now. And then after that, after they done flipped it around, bow. It's the same shit. They're gonna give it back to you. And then after that, you're gonna accept it. And you're gonna think that you got something better. Now, this is key right here, because you have that on many levels. This is where it gets deep. I want people to really get the point that, right here where I'm going is that I want people to get the point that the Federal Reserve and the bankers are the only sole problem, the only sole evil in the universe right now. Because You have the money, right? The currency is a gateway. What your wants and needs are, that's a gateway to your psyche. And your psyche is a gateway to your spirituality and all the things that you think and feel beyond words. So, if indeed you could get something from somebody that you want and they don't want anything, you will have to make them want that. So this is how, on a spiritual level, they get us. Because no matter what happens, your spirit is going to be satisfied. It doesn't want anything. You can give it whatever it wants. You can give it whatever you want. You can give it whatever you don't want. And it's just going to ride out. But the key is, when you come back into your physical senses, like your physical body or whatever you want to call it, once you ground it, you still feel that pain. You still feel that something's not right. You still get the same results over and over and over again because we keep giving up what we already have for something that we don't even know about. It's about the mystery, and it's the thrill of actually maybe getting something better every time. When you know it's the same bullshit. So if it's the same bullshit, we got to take it to the next level. This is all in point to that money is a religion. Okay? Like, the most repetitive word that you've ever heard about and the most deep thing that you've ever pondered about and ever wanted is not Jesus, it's not the spirituality, it's to have what? Money. Okay? Since the day you were born, your parents dreaded the day that you had to go out there and take care of yourself in this society. And this is not because of the fact that they don't believe in you as a person. It's because they know that there's greed out there. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants cars. Everybody wants all the things that are being propagated to them to want. And this is because they're using money as a spirituality. This is a part of, some people call it the Luciferian doctrine, or some people call it the goddamn Hegelian dialectic and all that other shit. But these are all just really when we as people are not responsible for our own actions. As if, you are actually somehow how can I say this? Separate from the universe, I guess. Making you special, divine, and unique. But in reality, what's happening is there's a middleman between you and what you actually are. So the money is actually Jesus. The money, which is a system of transferring, literally that's all it is. It's a system of us exchanging stuff, the way we interact with each other. That is now your religion. Now, that is limiting what the universe is to what you say and what is happening with other people. The money is the same way that back in the day that the popes used to let you pay your way into heaven. This is because those same religious leaders were owing the currency back then to other people that they had to pay back. So what do? You use your power that you got in order to get this manifestation to happen. The way that these people think is on a whole nother level. You were stuck inside of a religion, which they know for a fact was a flawed creation made back in the day by a couple of secret societies that really is really just like a way to keep people trapped in their child mind. That's all it's good for. Now, if I am rich and I know this, and I wake up, or what they say wake up is, if I know this since the day I'm born, why would I say anything to question this? Especially when there's a group of people around me, a whole group of people that will literally kill me if I do say something. This is the situation that the religion of money puts you in. The perpetual fear of losing yourself is attached to the physical gratification that we get from having money through what we imagine what we can do with it. But what we can do with it is all based on what we do outside of it, though. If you give somebody $20, some people might go spend that $20, but some people can turn that $20 into $100. Okay? This is all in reality a recording system as to how much you are manipulating somebody inside of a culture. If you record every time that you say something to somebody, just put a 1 down, and you add it up at the end of your life, and then you say, hey, that number right there, that's going to get me into heaven if I think about this number when I die. Then I can talk to all my family members and all that shit. This is kind of what we do with money. If we know that this is the root of all the evil and shit, and we know that money in reality is the racism, money is all this shit. The people who create it and literally print it every day, they are literally only picking up a role that they see to be an advantage in order to control other people. And this is not something that naturally occurs in a way where, it's naturally occurring because it's happening. But in a sense where you can trace time and compare it to the rest of all the knowing and all that stuff, we have to see that all the events that are happening in today's time are literally the first time a lot of this shit is happening. I don't know as a human being whether or not the moon is actually reflecting light from the sun or it has its own light. I don't know as a human being when I'm breathing in and out. I don't know as a human being what water is in reality. I don't know what space is. But it's all here. This goes back to the fact that we are really taking on somebody else's wants and needs. And the way to do that is by using money. If you want somebody else to do what you want them to do, what do you want? It doesn't matter once you're trying to maintain and get this dollar. What we have to get past in today's age is simply conquering our desires. Finding people that genuinely share the same desires as you, instead of trying to buy them to do what you want them to do. We have to completely stop using any note as currency. You have to see the currency for what it truly is. Stop being lazy and actually live. You're trading in your ability to live freely, literally, because you are part of a religion of money. Money is actually Jesus. Money is God to you. Money is Allah to you. Money is Buddha to you. Money is Abraham to you. Money is Brahma to you. Money is, what's that man's name? Money is our bandit to you. Money is goddamn, Ra to you, nigga. Money is Osiris to you. Money is Zeus. Money is all these things. Because right now, the media is all being manipulated through money. You see, the media itself is a currency itself. The media is actually the arts. And arts are meant to be expressions of what we are and what we're doing and all these other things. Once you have a restriction of that, then you are forced to express yourself secretively. Once you have to express yourself secretively, then you have to make certain languages that people don't understand, but they can use to spread the message. Because if you don't know that I'm trying to entice you into doing something for me, You know how your brother, your sister, or your mama call you, hey, and they'll be like, hi, I love you. And they'll be like, go to the refrigerator for me. Like, damn. You see, that's what the family does in a way. But this is what the money is doing too. It is a subliminal language, the same way that chemistry is. These are all subliminal languages in which we are putting more faith on than our own true feelings and our own true understandings that are naturally given to us through our process and our natural birthrights. Your wants and needs are more important than what you already are and you have. And this is what the religion of money brings.